education.
Very good evening, everyone.
Yes, yes.
So we'll be starting off with the business session for today. So the first announcement that I have, that we'll be sponsoring a club called Grammarian Corporation Club. So then we'll be having our demo meet on this Thursday or Friday. So if you guys want to take up any roles for that demo meet, you can contact DTM Udanka. And the second update is I want to recognize the VPPR for the newsletter release. He ensured that he uploaded the newsletter on time in the website, and he ensured that to release the newsletter through mail and in the WhatsApp group on time. And he's done a very fantastic job in that newsletter. I went through the newsletter. And the last update for today is regarding the role update for next week on behalf of the Vice President of Education. So 2 speech slots have been booked by Toastmaster Sindhushree and Toastmaster Balaji AS. And MC has been booked by Toastmaster Pavani, and General Evaluator has been booked by Toastmaster Dhanush. So remaining all roles are open, so please do contact Toastmaster Sanjana. Over to the Sergeant.
A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and your esteemed guests here. What is the first thought that comes to your mind as soon as you listen to this word called Premier League? Cricket. For some it might be cricket, for some it might be football. But right now, for most of us, it is E-Sala Cup Namde. If we lost the first match, we would be like, it's okay, it's for the God. But we have started this match on a positive note. There is loss, there's gain in match, but exactly like that, we have the same thing in life. Focus and support is the most important aspect for win. Like how we need it in both Premier League, exactly like that we need it in Toastmasters also. So to have focus, we need to give support. For that, we have to keep our phones in silent mode, and I will be giving 5 seconds to do so. Like how they tell, journey is more important than the destination. Exactly like that, winning cups is not important, but having loyal fans and supportive fans is more important. To take the meeting forward, I would want to welcome a person who is the fan of this football Premier League and cricket Premier Leagues. He is a BCom graduate and currently working in PwC. So please help me welcome the President, Toastmaster Gaurav.
A very good evening to all the guests and dear Toastmasters. So we have few guests in the room, and before I jump into the guest introduction, I like to mention that our club mentor DJ Ramlal is present in today's meeting. And yeah, I see few guests towards my left, so I request you guys to please rise from where you're seated and introduce yourself to the club.
Namaste everyone, my name is Rania and I'm 17 and a half years old, currently studying at Isha Homeschool in Coimbatore. I'm here today because I have a very deep passion for public speaking, and one of my first mentors, Balaji sir, is actually a part of this esteemed institution. Another member who has played a huge role in my life, my first guru, Mr. Pavani is also a distinguished Toastmaster. Another really important person, Mr. Ajay, is here, who was kind enough to give a teenager, a total stranger, an interview for my first book. So thank you so much for that. And these people have definitely inspired me to be here today, and I'm really excited to see how it goes.
We have one more guest here.
Good evening, Toastmasters. My name is Sharanye. I'm presently working in FMCG field in a company called Indonesia. So I just got to know from my friend that the Toastmasters is happening over here. So I'm very excited and very keen to learn. Thank you.
our meeting, and I hope you guys become a member soon.
Sorry, you cannot become a member if you are under 18.
Yeah.
Please make it a point to tell them.
About
Other
meeting.
people will take it in a wrong way.
And we'll be jumping off with the minutes of the meeting of previous meeting 1206, and I request the Secretary Toastmaster Pavani to read up the amount.
A very good evening, everyone. Here are the minutes of meeting number 1206 held on 27th of March 2023. Theme: Invest in Yourself. Word of the week: Zenith. The business session started at 6:30 p.m. and was chaired by President Toastmaster Gaurav. In the business session, the following points were addressed. President Toastmaster Gaurav mentioned that Toastmaster Balaji won the area level evaluation contest and will be representing the club at the division level. Vice President Membership Toastmaster Ujwal requested the members to renew their membership fees of Rs 4,200 for the upcoming term by sending the payment confirmation to Toastmaster Ujwal and Associate Treasurer Toastmaster Sai Snehal. On behalf of Vice President Education Toastmaster Sanjana, President Toastmaster Gaurav mentioned that all the roles were open for the next meeting. Interested members were requested to contact Toastmaster Sanjana for the same. The regular meeting started at 6:33 p.m. Acting Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Pavani started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to President Toastmaster Gaurav. President Toastmaster Gaurav opened the meeting, spoke on the theme and introduced the Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Sharanye. Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Sharanye spoke on the theme and introduced the following role takers for the day. Timer Toastmaster Raja, Accounter Toastmaster Ritik, Grammarian Toastmaster Sushruth, PP Evaluator Toastmaster Shivaprasad. An educational session on voice modulation titled Breathe Life into Your Speech was conducted by DTM Nagaraja Rao. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmaster Suprabha and had 13 speakers in total. The general evaluation was conducted by Toastmaster Ajay. The winners of the week were Best Table Topic Speaker DTM AK Prabhakara, Best Role Taker TAPG Toastmaster Sushruth, Best Role Taker MTG Toastmaster Sharanye. The President closed the meeting at 8:39 p.m. which was followed by the National Anthem. Thank you and back to you, President.
Now, is there any changes in the minutes of the meeting of 1206? If not, then I open meeting number 1207. I believe all the RCB fans slept well yesterday night after such a wonderful win that we had against Mumbai Indians. Very good evening to all the Toastmasters and to all the guests once again. So speaking of Premier Leagues, I follow 3 Premier Leagues. Okay, the first one is the famous Indian Premier League, and I recently started following Women's Premier League, which is the IPL version for women's. And unfortunately, women's RCB team lost and they couldn't even qualify for the playoffs. At first, everyone thought that Smriti Mandhana was the captain of Women's Premier League RCB team. They told that jersey number 18 we have both men and women. So they were in a huge confidence saying that this year, Women's Premier League is going to win by the women's RCB team, and even the IPL is going to win by the men's RCB team. First match, RCB women's team will lose the match. And second one, they again lost. Everyone are like, okay, fine, just the beginning of the contest, so it's okay. They'll win. If they win all the remaining matches, they're going to qualify. Third match, again they lost. They're like, okay, if they win remaining all the matches, and if other team lose one match and this team scores less than 100, 200, we're going to qualify. Fourth also they lost. Then again they won the 5th match and everyone are like, okay, fine. Some 2 teams lose the match and again some other team scores less than 200, we're going to qualify, but unfortunately we didn't. Then everyone started gaining self-confidence, and it's okay, first tournament. We're going to have so many tournaments in the future, we're going to win the second Women's Premier League. The one thing that came to my mind is, at least if this confidence were with the players, we could have won cup way long back. And second is this ISL, the Indian Soccer League, and I support the Bangalore FC. starting we were losing terrible. We were in assumption that we're not going to qualify for quarters or even semis. Then last 8 matches, Bangalore won back to back and we went till finals, and unfortunately due to penalties we lost. It was an amazing experience. If you want to witness a football match, I would say go to Bangalore FC versus Kerala FC. It will be like World War III. It's like how RCB versus CSK, the same way it's Bangalore FC versus Kerala FC. The fight the fans have, it's like way beyond what we expect. And now it's happening in the Indian Premier League, and yesterday was the first match. And speaking of Indian Premier League, I've been to many IPL matches. Like my mother used to work for Coffee Day before, and they used to sponsor a few free tickets to the employees. They're like, we can't pay you bonus, instead take this, free tickets. So I and my dad used to go with those free tickets, and I've been to more than 10 matches in Bangalore. And there have been times I traveled to different city to watch an RCB match. And I have to tell you, wherever I go, I observe people. And people are such a fan of this cricket. I have witnessed so many amazing matches, so many amazing moments, such wonderful experiences in cricket matches. And for one, I had been to this match, like it was RCB versus Mumbai Indians. It was that era where Sachin was the captain of the Mumbai Indians. So I was very young. So I had been with my dad, and of course RCB was in a very bad shape. They were about to lose, and there was this one female who was a very huge fan of Sachin Tendulkar. And Sachin was fielding in front of our stand, and this person put her arms out of the fence and she's like, Sachin, 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 she's shouting. And she's blocking our view. Okay, so my dad told, excuse me, can you please sit down? We are not able to see the match. She just went for a few seconds, again she came back, Sachin, Sachin. My dad told me, twice and thrice, but she was not listening, and he lost his patience. He told something in Hindi, but I'll translate it into English. He's like, after the match, you take Sachin to your house, you serve him dinner, you take care of him. Now, can you please go sit wherever seated? Remaining everyone started laughing around us, and she felt embarrassed. She never came in front of us. And people are such crazy fans, Like if you observe cricket matches, if you observe in Indian cricket grounds, the entire stadium is full of fans, because we Indians are huge crazy fans of cricket. We sometimes go out of the bounds and we go meet players on the pitch. Have you observed if any abroad or foreign stadiums have any fans? No, it's open area. Because for them, it's just cricket is just a sport, but for us, cricket is an emotion. And speaking of one fantastic match which I had been a few years back, it was RCB versus Delhi Daredevils. It was such an amazing match. It was a tie match actually, and it had been to super over. So the stand which I was sitting, right side was full of RCB fans and the left side was full of Delhi fans. And whenever RCB loses a wicket, they used to dance, and if Delhi was losing a wicket, we used to dance. And it was that super over. First batting was from RCB. Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers went on his crease, and for 4 balls they scored 4 runs. And Delhi were full on dancing, saying we'll win, RCB, go home. And then de Villiers came to the crease and hit back-to-back 2 sixes. And the target was 17 runs, and Delhi lost. And we all went to the Delhi fans, we started dancing. Such an amazing experience. If you have not witnessed a cricket match, I would say stop watching it in TV. Once go to the stadium, you know the actual craziness of people have towards cricket. And the best part of going to the stadium is you'll get a chance to be on the TV. I am proud to say I've been on TV twice. First one was during that Delhi Daredevils match, and the second was I'd been to Chennai to witness CSK versus RCB. The reason why I came on TV was the stand which I was seated, I was the only RCB fan. I was the only one wearing red color t-shirt and waving the RCB flag. So they had no other option to just show me that there is one RCB fan present in the match. Of course, RCB lost that match, but I was proud that I came on TV that day. Well, there are so many Premier Leagues, and when it comes to Toastmasters as well, we have so many contests. And there is this contest called International Speech Contest. Before, like few years back, I used to only witness the club contest, but this year I got a chance to witness so many various of club contests, area contests, and looking at such wonderful speakers, I got to learn a lot, and I'm actually impressed. I'm actually got to learn to witness such a wonderful contest, and I hope to witness much more contests in the future. So with this, I like to introduce the Master of Ceremonies for the day. He is a BCom graduate from Transcend Group of Institutions. His hobby include dancing, and he is a very huge fan of chess and cricket. He is a Western dancer, and he has witnessed and performed in many chess competitions in his school. So it's a huge round of applause. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Ujwal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav, for such a wonderful introduction. A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and my esteemed guests. You heard the Sergeant and the President speak about their favorite Premier League and the experiences, right? In the same way, as our President said, in Toastmasters, we also have Premier Leagues in terms of contests. It may be different club contest, different area contest, and different division contest, and finally ending up in the international contest. The goal of these Premier Leagues is to bring out the best version of an individual. In order to promote this excellence or to bring out the best in an individual, a person called Ralph Smedley started Toastmasters in 1924 at YMCA Santa Ana, California. There are 16,800 member clubs, and one such prestigious club is our Mekong Communication Club, which was started in the year 1998. The purpose of this club is to help its members improve their public speaking skills, communication skills, and the leadership skills. For the benefit of the guests, a typical Toastmaster meeting consists of 3 sessions. Number 1, the prepared speech session, where the speakers get time to prepare for a speech on a subject of their choice as per the guidelines of the manual. Number 2, the table topic session, where the speakers are chosen randomly and given a topic to which they have to speak or to respond immediately. Number 3, the general evaluation session. This is a session where the speakers and the proceedings of the meeting will be evaluated and the feedback will be given. For an effective meeting, we have few role takers. As and when I call upon the names, I request all the role takers to explain their roles. Firstly, I would like to call timer Toastmaster Sharanye.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ujwal. A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. It might be in a Premier League or in life or in Toastmasters, time is the most important aspect. As a timer, my main role is to keep a track of time and to ensure the importance of time. So for the first session, that is the prepared speech session, I'll be raising the green card at 5 minutes, yellow card at 6 minutes, and red card at 7 minutes. For the second session, that is the table topic session, I'll be raising the green card at 1 minute, yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red card at 2 minutes. For the third session, that is the individual evaluation session, which should be between 2 to 3 minutes, I'll be raising the green card at 2 minutes, yellow card at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and the red card at 3 minutes. I'll be giving my report at the general evaluation session. Thank you, and back to you.
Next, I would like to call the counter for the day, Toastmaster Sushruth.
Good evening, everybody. As an counter, I'll be counting R's, ums, and other clutch words, and I'll be giving the report when called up.
Now, I would like to call the Grammarian for the day, Toastmaster Vijay, Upendra.
Thank you, Vijay. Good evening, Toastmasters, welcome guests. As a grammarian, I'll be listening to all speakers carefully, note their use of language. I'll be taking note of good usage and not so good usage of words and sentences. The word of the day, incipient, meaning beginning to come into being, a beginning. Usage, the project is still in its incipient stages. I'll give my report during general evaluation when called upon. Back to you, MC of the day.
Now let us call the PP Evaluator for the day, DTM Udanka.
Good evening, everyone. There are a few rules which we need to follow in the meeting. 1. Put your phones on silent mode. 2. Avoid talking about sex, religion or politics. 3. Enter or exit only during an applause and avoid cross talks. With that, back to you, Master Toastmaster.
Alright, thank you role takers for explaining your roles. Let us make it a great meeting. Moving on to the first session, the prepared speech session. We have 3 speakers for today. Before I call upon the first speaker, I would like to call the mandala artist of our club, Toastmaster Pavani, to read the project guidelines.
A very good evening, everyone, and Toastmaster Saipriya in particular. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Notes for the evaluator, that is me. The member completing this project has spent time researching a topic. They may be speaking about a new topic or a known topic on a deeper level. About this speech, the member will present a well-organized, well-delivered speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The speech content and style should work well together. This project is not a report on the content of the researching and presenting project. I'll be giving my evaluation during the general evaluation time. All the best for the speaker, and back to you, MC.
The speaker is a student pursuing diploma in computer applications. Her hobbies include singing, dancing, painting, sketching, and craft. She is an avid reader. She has joined Toastmasters in order to polish and enhance her communication and leadership skills. The speaker is attempting Level 1, Project 3 with a speech titled, Do We Have a Purpose in Our Life? So please help me welcome Toastmaster Saipriya with a thunderous round of applause.
Do we all have a purpose in our lives? But the tragedy is that none of us, precisely put, most of us do not realize our purpose. And for many, in fact, it takes a lifetime to realize their purpose. So now I would like to narrate 2 incidents, 2 stories about 2 great people. One is from Canada. So moving on to the person from Canada. Come on friends, let's all go to Canada. Here there was a young man who lost one of his legs due to cancer. But what did he do? Did he sit and cry, wail in self-pity, self-criticism and the self-blame game? Or did he fall prey, succumb to the situation and his problem? No, he didn't. Instead, here is where he found his purpose in life, and that was to build or set up the Cancer Foundation. So how did he begin? How did he raise funds for the same? He ran a marathon across Canada. Now just imagine friends, 42 kilometers each and every single day with just one leg and the other one being a metallic leg. Imagine what a glorious purpose he would fulfill. And this is how he raised $24 million and started the foundation. And at that time, apparently, the population there too was 24 million. So it happened to be as if all the Canadians from that place had contributed $1 each towards this project. And this young man's name was Terry Fox. And lo and behold, the Terry Fox Cancer Foundation was set up. And that's how it was born. So thanks to Terry Fox and his purpose, which drew his entire life. Hats off to you, Terry Fox, for this wonderful job done, which is today even running, serving thousands of people who are similarly afflicted with the cancer disease. Now moving on to the next destination, which is Mount Everest. So we all know that who was the first person to climb Mount Everest. It was Sir Edmund Hillary. But do you all know who was the first double amputee to climb Mount Everest? It was none other than Mark Inglis. Mark Inglis, during one of his expeditions, was stuck in the icy mountains in a freezing cold temperature, facing severe blizzards, snowstorms, and it was a horrible weather, I would say. It was an extreme weather of a mix of snow lashing with great speed and so much and freezing cold out there for 14 days until rescue came, when he realized that he had lost both his legs, as it had frozen solid and became black, hence had to be amputated. If not, he would have died. So this is how he fulfilled his purpose of climbing the Mount Everest, and also a bigger purpose, and that was where he helped his fellow mountaineers who had lost their legs in a similar expedition by fitting them and setting up metallic legs for them, which in turn brought broad smiles on all of their faces. Which is what he wanted, and this is what he witnessed. So friends, we all have seen how purpose can drive one's life into making them achieve the impossible, no matter what. A purpose, according to me, in my perspective, is what one is destined for, and each of them have a different purpose in life. And purpose can be short term, or it can be long term, or both. Like in case of my taking me into account, my short-term purpose was to give this speech in front of all of you, and my preparation started 1 week in advance. I worked really hard on this speech. I put in a lot of effort, stayed up late night for 3 days, practiced really hard, day in and day out, even when I was having my coffee and of course not eating my dinner or whatever, lunch, breakfast. But when I was having my coffee, I still was going through the script and rehearsing a lot in front of an imaginary Toastmaster crowd, of course, not in front of the mirror. And here I am presenting it to all of you today. So I would like to tell you all even a fact about this great person Terry Fox. The fact is that this marathon race is happening even today all over the world. It's a Terry Fox run as it's called, and it's a opportunity for many youthful and youth people to run this marathon to raise the funds further for helping the cancer patients out there and keeping the foundation on. And I would like to conclude my speech with a small song, before which I have a small request, and that would be, please don't raise complaints against our club, my club, as this song is part of my speech and my today's purpose, second short-term purpose. As I believe music is a medicine for the heart, as it cures many diseases. Starting from minor, it can have a deep impact. I am telling you all, believe me, trust me, it can have a deep impact. You will see it now. And it is a food for the mind, as it calms down the mind and it helps one give their best in whatever they are doing and put forth their best. And food for the brain, and a nourishment for the brain, as it stimulates neurons that help in the overall mental health. And I would, since I am reaching my time, I would cut short my song by a paragraph. We're soaring, flying. There's not a star in heaven that we can't reach. If we're trying, yeah, we're breaking free. You know the world can see us in a way we're different than who we are. Creating space between us. We'll raise up our hearts. Glide yourself to reach the sun that everyone can reach. We're breaking free, soaring, we're flying. There's not a star in heaven that we can reach. If we're trying, yeah, we're breaking free. Thank you, and back to the music.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saipriya, for such a wonderful speech. Now, moving on to the second speaker for today, I would like to call the helping hand of our club, Toastmaster Sai Snehal, to read out the project guidelines.
Good evening, Toastmasters. I am evaluating a level 1 project 2 part 2 speech, which is the evaluation and feedback project. The purpose statement of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to demonstrate that he or she has applied the feedback received from his or her first speech. Notes for the evaluator. During the completion of this project, the member has received feedback about his or her speech. Work to apply the feedback to a second speech. Thank you, and all the best to the speaker. Back to the next.
Now coming to the last speaker for today, I would like to call the latest humorous king of our club, Toastmaster Shiva, to read out the project guidelines.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ujwal. The speaker is attempting level 3 project 2, inspire your audience project. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires others. The purpose of the speech is for the member to inspire the audience. Notes for the evaluator: the member needs to present a speech that inspires the audience. The speech content should be engaging and the speaker entertaining or moving. The speaker should be aware of audience response and adapt the speech as needed. If the member appears to be talking at the audience instead of interacting with them, he or she is not fulfilling the goal of the speech. The duration of the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to the speaker. Back to the Master of Ceremonies.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva. The speaker is the immediate past president of India's first Toastmaster club, that is Garden City Toastmaster Club, 2 times Triple Crown winner, and currently heading the role of VP Education in Speakers Den Toastmaster Club. The speaker is attempting level 3 project 2 with a speech title Inspire Your Audience. So please help me to welcome Toastmaster Sonal with a thunderous round of applause.
How many of us have dreamed of the impossible? Okay. And how many of us have actually followed up on those dreams? Ma'am, thankfully ma'am is there, and so of course my mentor, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. There lived a little boy in a village called Gailur, near Gaya in Bihar. He was a poor landless farmer, because of which he had to work as an agricultural labor in a nearby village. Now here comes the challenge. Between his village and the village where he would work stood a massive mountain. So this boy would have to either mount the mountain or go around the mountain every single day to reach his workplace. This was a very difficult, arduous process, but he had to do it because it was his sole means of livelihood. He did this for several years. At the age of 16, he married a young woman from a nearby village called Falguni. They lived a very, very happy married life. They had 2 children. For the love that she had for her husband, she would mount the mountain carrying lunch for him every single day. And she didn't tire of this because she loved her husband immensely. This again went on for several years. On one very, very unfortunate day, while carrying lunch for her husband, she slipped and fell from the mountain and sustained massive injuries. She was rushed to the nearby hospital, which was 55 kilometers away from the site of accident. While being rushed to the nearest hospital, she succumbed to her injuries. Now Toastmasters, picture this. A poor, landless, uneducated farmer who loved his wife immensely lost her to this tragic accident. He, of course, was devastated, like most of us would be. But what's different about this man was this incident also awakened the optimist in him. He wanted to do something about the situation because he did not want to lose any other person from his village, just like he lost his wife. So he decided to do something that nobody thought he would go on to do. With just a hammer in one hand and a chisel in the other, he decided to carve a path across the mountain. Okay, these are rudimentary tools. And he wanted to do this. This was a feat which was considered impossible by governments, NGOs, philanthropists, and he wanted to do with just a hammer and a chisel in his hand. People laughed at him, they mocked him, they ridiculed him, but he was determined. With determination, hard work, and backbreaking labor. And of course, there were naysayers who would call him a lunatic, they would laugh at him, but despite all of that, he continued carving a path across the mountain. And at the end of 22 long, arduous years, he was successful in carving out a path across the mountain. Now, the same people who would call him a lunatic and mocked him, ridiculed him, were felicitating him. Government suddenly recognized him. 22 years, they were oblivious of his existence. And now suddenly everybody was congratulating him, felicitating him, taking pictures with him. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the story of the mountain man, Dashrath Manji. Just like him, I too lost a very important person in my life in 2019 to a very tragic incident, very similar to what he had faced. I lost my father. And we have a business, a legacy of 100 years, a business, family business of 100 years. My brother and I are still very young, we didn't know what to do. Should we give up on our legacy? Should we just continue doing what we were doing? Or should we carry on the family legacy? Was the question that was staring us. And stories like Dashrath Manji, people like them, inspired me and my brother to go forward and do the impossible. And today, ladies and gentlemen, just like how it was, we are 103 years old, thriving business, just like we were when we started off in the year 1921. So ladies and gentlemen, life will keep presenting to you challenges after challenges, but you could sit back and allow the naysayers rule your mind, or you could stare at the challenges that are in front of you and say, impossible is nothing, just like how Manji did. Mr.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonal, for delivering such an inspiring story. Moving on to the second session, the most exciting and the horror session, the table topic session. Today's table topic master is a construction technologist working at the Autodesk in Bangalore. He has joined Toastmasters to be comfortable with storytelling. He likes to do gym and CrossFit, and one fun fact is that he's an excellent barista. He loves to read books also. So please help me to welcome Toastmaster Raja with a huge round of applause.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome to the guests. An average human brain processes about 50,000 thoughts per day. 80% are negative. 90% are repetitive. There is so much noise in our minds, and this is the data which revealed. And what are those negative thoughts? Fear of the future. What is going to happen 3 years from now, 4 years from now? Anxiety about the present. Everything is going well, still I'm feeling like something is going to happen. Something I'm feeling not right. That's the anxiety. Shame about the past. You know what? I should have got 10 marks more. You know what? I should have done good in that interview. I should have been good to that girl. We need to change this pattern for the better. Imagine even eliminating 10% of repetitive thoughts, you will have so much space in your mind to be awesome. Now, it is not so easy. Because why it is not easy? Because our brains were not invented in the 20th century. It got formed for hundreds of thousands of years, and that is why we are driven by the survival instincts. So today's table topic has a purpose. We are going to try and flip those thoughts. So today's table topic is going to be quotes. I'm going to give a quote, and I want you all to talk about that different quotes that when called upon, and you can share your experiences as well as we go through those quotes. All right, let's start. The first one: a ship is safe in the harbor. A ship is safe in the harbor, but that is not what ships are for. A ship is safe in the harbor, but that is not what ships are for. This goes to Toastmaster U Bhat.
topic master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. A ship is safe in the harbor, but that is not it is meant for. This is a quotation which is often used by many speakers in many of the inspirational speeches everybody says. Yes. And why do they say that? Because the man cannot be living in his comfort zone. The fundamental principle in a man works, in what we do work for or what we grow is, we learn new things, we experience new things, we experiment new things, and we grow in the process. And that is possible only if we come out of the comfort zone. It is very easy to be in the comfort zone and be happy with whatever you have, but that will not lead to the growth of a human being. A growth of human being happens, me, you, everybody for that matter, to explore new areas where you probably may not be comfortable, but that will give you more ideas about what the world is about. You can learn new things, you can experiment with new things, and that will lead to your growth. And that is what is required, and that in fact is the purpose of human life in my opinion. Because the purpose of human beings, a person is growth. Growth in his mental faculties, areas where he can develop. And that is possible only when we come out of the comfort zone. And that is probably what this particular quotation, the ship is safe in the harbor, but that is not what is meant for. The ship is not meant, similarly, a human being is not meant for to be in the comfort zone like a ship in the harbor, but explore new ways, explore new ideas, do new experiments, and in the process grow yourself. And the growth, there is no end to the growth until the last day of your life. You have to keep on growing, because that is what we are born for. Back to
we all had listened to no's in our life. It's just that when we hear that, it's kind of like just goes to our heart, right? We just keep thinking, just happened. So the next topic is, we all heard no's in our life. However, no means next opportunity. We all heard no's in our life, but no means next opportunity. This goes to Toastmaster Dhanush.
Good evening to fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. I really want you to repeat that question.
No means next opportunity.
No means next opportunity. Yeah, it makes sense. Like this is the first time I'm ever hearing this quote. No means next option. Yeah, it makes sense for me. Well, at work, it makes sense. Like when I ask my manager for extra work, he tells no. Secretly, when I'm thinking that, I'm happy about it. So that's one thing I'm about it. No means next opportunity. I'm feeling a lot of pressure because my sister is here. I'm not able to resonate to that particular quote. That's why I'm not able to tell anything about it. But because maybe I've never been told no, so that's one of the things. Maybe that's why I'm not able to resonate to that particular quote. But maybe next time when it actually makes an impact, I will be able to tell something about it. Thank you, and thank you.
All right, the next one. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade out of it. And this goes to Toastmaster Sindhushree.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raja. When life gives lemons, you make lemonade out of it. I was hoping I won't get something like that quote. Really? Because I would like to think of this particular topic as an opportunity or something, where every time our life throws an opportunity, you make sure that you encatch it and use it to your maximum and to the fullest. One particular incident that I would like to quote from my life is, in my colleges during the COVID times, it was really tough to get internships. And without internships, it doesn't really matter to have good experience on your resumes. And I was wondering, what do I do at this particular moment? And similarly, I waited for a month. It prolonged for almost 2 months, and it was almost at the brink of the last month, and I had to do something. And I waited for a long time, and at the last minute, I got 2 internships. And I thought, what can I do now? I had to pick one out of the other, and I was thinking, I cannot pick one or the other because both of them were equally my favorite. One was completely into the digital marketing, one was completely into the traditional marketing. And that's when I thought to myself, why not do the impossible and manage to do both? And somehow I pulled it off for an entire 2 months and did it again. And at that particular time, it was really tough because I was working on 2 extremely different project works. And I thought to myself, if I let this go, probably I'm not going to get this again in the future. Probably if I use it to the fullest and try to do something about it and come up with practice, monitor my time, categorize it properly for myself, this could be a really good thing. And finally, it turned out to be a really great, because anytime you think that you cannot do to your fullest, or you think this is very difficult, or you think that you're not up for it, just like take it out of your mind, because if you think you can do something at the end of the day, you can. And that is what I personally believe. Every time somebody tells me, can you do this? I'll be like, sure, why not? I'll give it a try. And thank you.
I believe in invisible energy, and I'm already seeing an energy of positivity oozing out of this room. All right. The next one. Why fit in when you're born to stand out? Why fit in when you're born to stand out? Toastmaster Keerthana.
Thank you. Namaskaram. My first time here. So, okay. So the thing is, why fit in when you were supposed to stand out? Okay, for the starters, I'm standing here. So why fit in when you can stand out? It kind of resonates with how my life has been so far, because I was born in a very conventional family, and for the work I'm doing now, I had to probably stand out at every time. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been where I am. So I think when you can stand out, you should grab it and make the most out of it, because no matter how talented you are, no matter how capable you are, it's only when you grab the opportunities and you make the most out of it. And it's very important you identify it. It's very, very important, because I'll share one personal experience. When I started my journey, I was, I decided I'm just going to be a part-time preschool teacher. So when I was climbing down the stairs, my business partner now, he said, I'm starting, I'm planning to author a book. So can you help me in it? So I was like, okay, chalo, let's do this. So from that, one thing led to another, and then our brand A+ was born. And today we churn out authors who are still in their school and college. And we just had 7 authors, as A+ authors. So I think it's not just for us. When you can get an opportunity, you stand out, you should give it to others too. It's not just all only about yourself. When you've got an opportunity, you must give it to others too. Because if you can do it, others also can do it. And it's very important to have that thing always in your mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Keerthana. We all might have come through the situation that people say, you cannot do this. Or sometimes our voices in our head also says that you cannot do it. Oh boy, but nothing feels better than doing what people say you cannot do. Right? Nothing feels better. It just feels so good, right? And nothing feels better than doing what people say you cannot do. This goes to Toastmaster Sanjana.
A very good evening to fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. And I quite resonate with the topic, because I always have this endless debate with my father when I was a kid, I was a chubby kid, and he used to restrict me from eating pizzas or burgers, saying that I might put on a lot of weight post that. And then he used to maybe in all good spirit, he used to challenge me that I might not reduce those extra kilos. But then I took it as a challenge, went to the gym and burnt off the extra calories. And this and another incident which happened a couple of years ago. So I used to always take an Uber or an Ola to RT Nagar. So every day that used to cost me around 400 rupees. And my father used to say that you need to be a little more economical, and I don't think you can pull it off traveling in a BMTC bus. So I took it as a challenge, even though I couldn't find any bus. I took a bus to Majestic, and then I took another bus. I waited in order to make sure that I proved him wrong. And thank God I did not throw the ticket. So I came home, showed him the ticket, showed him 3 tickets saying that I did manage to pull it off. Then I had that sigh of victory once I proved my father wrong. So that is my take on the topic.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjana. Looks like you do feel really good when you start doing what people say you cannot do. Okay, so the next one, it's a strategy, right? If you want to lift yourself up, lift someone else. If you want to lift yourself up, lift someone else. This goes to Toastmaster Ramlal.
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests, certainly if you want to lift yourself up, you have to lift someone else up. And what better way to do than through the Toastmasters? And one of the things that I do to see that this statement becomes true is inspiring an audience, right? And one person who inspires me the utmost is what I'm going to present to you through his life. He lost his job in 1832. He failed in business in 1834. His sweetheart died in 1836. He suffered a nervous breakdown in 1838. He was defeated for land officer in 1844. He was defeated for Senate in 1849. He was defeated for vice president in 1854. Again defeated for Senate in 1856. And in 1860, ladies and gentlemen, Abraham Lincoln became the President of the United States of America. To what single quality can we attribute his success? To, perhaps, perseverance. No one can ever pursue a worthy object steadily and persistently with all the powers of his mind and yet make his life a failure. Focus the rays of the sun in winter, you can kindle a fire with ease. Melt a charge of shot into a bullet, and it can be fired through the bodies of 4 men. The giants of the human race have been men of concentration, men who have struck sledgehammer blows in one place until they've accomplished this purpose. The successful men of today are men of one overmastering idea, men of one unwavering aim, men of single and intense purpose. Every great man has become great, and every successful man has succeeded in proportion as he has confined his past to one particular channel. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, lift someone else up if you want to lift yourselves up. Mr.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramlal. Sometimes we feel scared. We're like, should we do this? Should we not do this? Should we do this? Should we not do this? Should we do this? I know. So courage is being scared and doing it anyway. Courage is being scared but doing it anyway. This goes to Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. The table topic master what he has given is the thing, but the ದ್ವಂದ್ವ ಬುದ್ಧಿ. ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ದ, ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ದ, ಇತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. This is ದ್ವಂದ್ವ ಬುದ್ಧಿ. So if you have that ದ್ವಂದ್ವ ಬುದ್ಧಿ, you will not achieve anything. So you must have a conviction. You must have that, yes, I am going to do this. Determine one thing and move in that direction, definitely you will succeed in this one. So for this, I remember one vachana, ಹೆದರದಿರು ಮನವೇ ಹಿಮ್ಮೆಟ್ಟದಿರು ಮನವೇ, ಹೆದರದಿರು ಮನವೇ ಹಿಮ್ಮೆಟ್ಟದಿರು ಮನವೇ, ಹಿಡಿದ ಛಲವ ಬಿಡಿದಿರು ಮನವೇ, ಹಿಡಿದ ಛಲವ ಬಿಡಿದಿರು ಮನವೇ, ಜರಿದರೆಂದು ಜಂಕಿಸಿದರೆಂದು ಶಸ್ತ್ರ ಸಮಾಧಿ ನೀರು ನೇಣು ವಿಷ ಉಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಘಟವ ಬಿಡದೆ, ಘಟ ಬಿಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡ, ಹೆದರಬೇಡ. ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ one goal. When two things are there, what you can do, you think yourself what you can do. If you cannot do yourself, ask somebody who is known to you, who is a professional, go in that direction. Don't carry it two ways. It will not yield any result. So finally, ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಕುದುರೆಯ ನೇರಲರಿಯದೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಕುದುರೆಯ ನೇರ ಬಯಸುವರು, ವೀರರು ಅಲ್ಲ ಧೀರರು ಅಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಕಾರಣ ನೆರೆಮೂರು ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಲ್ಲಣವ ಹೊತ್ತುಕೊಂಡು ತೊಳಲುತ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಗುಹೇಶ್ವರನೆಂಬ ಲಿಂಗವನ್ನೆತ್ತಬಲ್ಲರು. ಅಂದರೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಕುದುರೆ ಈ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಕೆಲಸ ಬೇಡ, ನನಗೆ ಮಾವಿನ ಹಣ್ಣು ಬಂದು ನಿಂಬೆ ಹಣ್ಣು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕುದುರೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಜೀನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀವಿ, ಸೀಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಜೀನ್, ಅದನ್ನು ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓಡಾಡೋದು. ಯು ಕಾಂಟ್ ಅಚೀವ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ದ್ವಂದ್ವ ಬುದ್ಧಿ. Go in a different this thing. If you don't know, ask others, ask professionals, and go in that way. Definitely success is yours. Thank you very much.
I think he saw my topic. The next one, in similar lines. It always seemed impossible until it is done. It always seemed impossible until it is done. This goes to Toastmaster Jeevitha.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests. It feels so nice to stand here first of all. Impossible. I just finished a show yesterday and this reminded me when all of them were sharing your experiences. Takes me back to that memory when, I really wanted to pursue theatre as my passion. I studied at Christ College, so we have something called as Theatre and Education at Christ. So as a credit course, you can do that. I remember the first time they called us for audition to be a part of a theatre group. There were 60 of us. We were preparing for a very big show. Every day after college, we would literally wait from 4 to 8 for practice. And after months, we were given the chance to perform on stage. And with all excitement, I called my mother that, listen, I'm performing on stage. My mom comes, she watches me. And she's like, it was such a grand show, but where were you? I was like, Ma, I was the tree behind, like the prop. And the second time I called her and I'm like, again I would practice, I would come home late because I wanted to be a part of that group. And she again came and watched me. And then she's like, I recognized you because you were wearing a soldier uniform and there were 60 soldiers on the group. And that was one of the parts that they gave me as a theatre artist. And then after a few years, I begged in a theatre group, listen, I want to do a certification and things like that. They were like, see, your dialect is very bad and this is a Kannada play. And after a lot of rehearsals and practice, they gave me the role, a very nice role, and I forgot the dialogue on stage. I blanked out. But there was a mentor who came into my life who guided me for the entire play. And I remember we did a show that got featured in Bangalore. That show got selected in such a way that we reached to Bombay. We represented Karnataka. And today I'm doing multiple shows. And yesterday, a week before, I had a show. Both of them were houseful. And the next coming shows are also blocked. We are 50% sold out. What really made me feel impossible that time, that I shouldn't be taking up as an actor or be a theatre artist, today feels possible, and I feel extremely happy that I'm able to do shows in Bangalore and also represent Karnataka and Bombay. So that's the feeling of not
See, such inspirational stories coming through. You know, these quotes, sometimes you may feel like it's kind of a cliche, but the thing is, unless you keep telling about them, unless you keep telling those stories, it won't fit in, otherwise it just evaporates. Okay, so the next one. Failure is a part of the process of success. Okay, failure is a part of the process of success. This goes to, I'm not remembering
Pavani?
it. Yeah.
It's nice to meet you.
That was, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, table topic master. So this is my first time and I don't have any idea what to talk. What is the topic actually?
Failure is a part of the process of success.
Okay, so this is a very good story of mine, that of my life. I was so into medical and I didn't get that. So it was a failure, and after that I was like, yeah, I want to do something in medical field. So I took the admission in pharmacy background. So after completing that, I didn't find a job there. So when I got my first internship, and that is nothing about pharma related, and they were telling that they are giving me some work about IT, and they said that my manager said that you are so good at technology, why you are gone to pharma background. I said I don't know. Then from that I started my career in data analyst. So I'm so into data. I just love the data, to play around, to play with it, to clean it, mining it, just love it. And so I am here today, and this is my story of failure to success. Thank you so much.
Thanks for sharing that, Toastmaster Mehjabin. Okay. The last one. Everything happens on a mental plane first, before it manifests in the reality, and we all know that, right? So the last one is, believe you can and you're halfway there. Believe you can and you're halfway there. This goes to Toastmaster Lakshmi.
Thank you, Table Topics Master, for that topic. I was not expecting a topic today because I'm supposed to be evaluating other people. I was sitting comfortably there thinking nobody's asking me anything today. But he threw a curveball at me. So here I am. Believe you can and you're halfway there. Okay, this is a small experience that I had. Beginning of Corona, was it early 2020, right? I've always loved the water, the sea, any water body, right? But I couldn't swim. I have a deathly fear of swimming and water. So I wanted to get over it. In my mind, I had signed up for swimming classes 3 times in my life. I would sign up, go pay up for the first 3 months, then go there the first day, all equipped, right? I have my swimsuit, I have my bag, I have everything. I would go there, look at the water, turn right back and walk up. So I've lost a lot of money like that. The 3rd time, this is why I put both my kids in swimming, because I wanted them to swim. So I would take them to the swimming pool every day and come back, look longingly at the water, but come back. The 3rd time, just before Corona, right? In February, March, they closed down everything. In January, I paid up the fees again. And then I went there, and this time I went up to the water, put my feet in the water. And the coach there, he was like, ma'am, ಏನು ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಇಳಿದು ನೋಡಿ. And he said, hold the railings, come down. And then he pulled me down into the water. And I went straight down. I sank, right? Because what do we do in our panic? The human body can float, but we don't let it float because of the panic. So I went right in. And then he said, I am not going to do anything. You believe that you can come up. And then he left me there, and he went back and he sat on the side of the pool. And believe it or not, in like 2 seconds, he said, keep your mouth closed, keep your nose closed, don't breathe. And I came up. And he said, "Did you believe you can come up?" I said, "Yes, I believe what you told me." And my daughter sent me with 2 instructions. She said, "Don't be scared of the water and trust the coach." And so from that day onwards, I tried. And today, I can swim about 10 meters without being scared of the water. So
I'm going to finish it off with a song. I believe I can fly. Hope the table topics were meaningful and gave you some insights. And thank you. And back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raja, for magnificently conducting the table topic session. Now let us have a short networking break for 10 minutes. We'll resume after that. Welcome back, everyone. Coming to the most important session for today, general evaluation session. Today's general evaluator is a software engineer by trade and experience. She is now working on projects as a freelancer. She is very enthusiastic about Toastmasters, where she wants to hone her ability to speak with purpose. She also enjoys reading and traveling. So please put your hands together and welcome the grammar queen of our club, Toastmaster Lakshmi, with a thunder of
thank you, MC, for that very grand introduction. A premier evening to all of you, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The cricket IPL is in its incipient stage this season. And it's okay to say, I think, especially after yesterday's match, E Sala Cup Namde. I just wanted to say that. So today, on that high note, let's start today's evaluation, general evaluation. The purpose of general evaluation, as you all know, but for the purpose of guests, is to do a review of the proceedings that happened today and maybe reflect on things that went well and provide some feedback on things that maybe we can do better next time and so on. So let's get started. The meeting started at 6:19 p.m., which is great, and thanks to our president who always gently reminds us every time to show up 15 minutes before. So great start on that. Next, we had the business session by the president, who made a few announcements. One of them was that we will be now sponsoring a new club called Pierian Club. Did I get the name right? Yes, and the demo sessions will be this week. So we have to contact Toastmaster DTM Udanka if we want to participate. Then he recognized the VPPR for bringing Toastmaster Shiva for bringing out the newsletter on time and doing such an excellent job for it. Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva, for that. And on behalf of the VPE, he announced the roles that were available for next week. 2 speech slots are taken. MC has been booked by Toastmaster Pavani. General evaluation by Toastmaster Lalana, and the remaining roles are open. Next, we come to the sergeant. Toastmaster Sharanye always has an enthusiastic smile when she comes behind the lectern. She stands behind and first smiles, and she's got everybody's attention. She made such an enthusiastic start, which is wonderful because that's how the sergeant should be, calling to business everybody's attention and grabbing everybody's attention. She also had a nice way of talking about putting the phones on silent by saying how we need to focus and support the meeting. So that was a nice way. She also talked about how support and focus were important for win, and in order to have a successful meeting, our support should be by putting the phones on silent. So very nice way to do that. And she also related the theme to a creative way to introducing the president. So a job well done. Let's hear it for Toastmaster Sharanye. Next we had the president's address, and he called upon the minutes of the meeting to be read by Toastmaster Pavani. She always has a wonderfully crisp way of reading out the minutes of the meeting, nothing missed, always enough detail given. Week after week we've been seeing it. She's now got it down to perfection. Great job done for, let's hear it first. Next we move on to the presidential address. He introduced the guests. he acknowledged the presence of our club mentor in the meeting today, and he introduced the MC of the day. All that was done fine, but I just wanted to say that how much I am in admiration of how he gives his presidential address. He confessed that he never prepares for it. He always talks about what is current, what is relevant, what is going on at that time. He's very down to earth, and you could mistake what he's saying for a one-on-one conversation with him. It is so natural, the way he talks. He could be talking to just you or just me. He was talking about the IPL, he was talking about different Premier Leagues that go on, what he follows and what he is interested in, and how people react to different matches, and how his personal experience was with a crazy fan, and his personal experience of attending an IPL game, and how enthusiastic it can be, how different it can be from just watching a match at home. So very natural way, very relatable. The audience immediately responds. This I have seen week after week, and he has my admiration for that. So thank you, Mr. President. Let's dive right into the prepared speech session. Before that, did all the evaluators receive the evaluation forms in advance?
Yes.
Yes, can you confirm that? Thank you. So the first speech today was by Toastmaster Saipriya. I invite her speech evaluator today, Toastmaster Pavani, to deliver the evaluation of Toastmaster Saipriya's speech. Do we have a purpose?
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi. A very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and Toastmaster Saipriya in particular. I shall split my evaluation into 3 parts, where you excelled at, where you can improve or challenge yourself, and I will just sum it up in the end. Firstly, you had an amazing vocab throughout your speech, and you had also good hand gestures. You narrated 2 anecdotes. One is about the Canada and other one is about the Mount Everest. And your speech was of an informational style, and you also the speech requirement was about well organized and well delivered speech with research and presentation. So here you could have done more research with, you could have added more statistical data, so which could have emphasized your speech much better. Having said that, firstly, coming to the areas of improvement, you had the script on the table and you were tempted to look at it. So if you could avoid that from the next time, I think you would do a better job. And because I'm telling you this because you told us how much efforts you had put into preparing your speech, right? So just because you had the script on the table, you were tempted to look at it more number of times. So if you didn't have any script, you were confident enough, so you could have just told the story in a natural way. And the second point is that the speech length, the time was 5 to 7 minutes, wherein your speech exceeded up to 10 minutes. So this is where you can improve yourself. And what you can do is, while you're writing down your speech, you can just see to that you don't exceed more than 700 words, so that it is within the time limit and you will not be you don't feel the burden of talking for 10 minutes. You could have just cut short it for like 5 or 6 to 7 minutes between that time, so that you also won't feel that burden, right? And coming to and one more thing is that you concluded by singing a song. So that could have been avoided, because first of all there was a time limit and you had already exceeded that, so that could have been avoided. Lastly, I would just say that you could work on your conclusion part. This is where you can challenge yourself. And how you could have concluded would have been like you told us 2 things, like your short term, you told the purpose of life and short term purpose, and there is long term purpose, and you told us about your short term purpose. You could have concluded by saying your long term purpose as well, so that we could know you better, like what was your long term purpose. Like we were all waiting. Your short term purpose was to prepare this speech and deliver it in a best way. So when you would have added on your long term purpose in your life, that would have brought a much more stronger conclusion to your speech. And having said that, but this doesn't take away from the amazing work you have done today, and I really appreciate your courage for this. And in a nutshell, you're a born storyteller, and we all could see that. You had amazing grammar skills, and keep up with that good work. And you also gave us a few thoughtful speeches. So with this, I hand over the chair. I hand over it to G. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pavani. Now, just a couple of words about the speaker herself. We have seen the speaker for a few months now, and I really appreciate the work and the effort that you're putting into yourself, the time that you're investing in yourself to come up here week after week behind the lectern and make a genuine, sincere effort to improve yourself. That is what Toastmasters is all about. So kudos to you on that. Coming to the evaluator, a very crisply delivered evaluation. You earlier said that this is how you were going to structure your evaluation. You told her what she had done well, and then you went on to say these are things that she could have done. She could have presented some statistical data. She could have tried to do her speech without the script, and she could have also figured out how much time she was taking so that she could stick to the time limit. While I would say that not to take away the fact that you were trying to introduce a vocal element like singing, which is great, but as long as it happens within the time limit, because let's remember that while we are taking more time, we are taking away time from other speeches, from other speakers. So let's try to practice enough so that we can come here and stick to the time limits. Those are the things I would say. And great job of evaluation, Pavani. I see that you are taking more roles again and again, and this is a role that you did not know you were going to take. Am I right? Somebody else had the role. So you came in, you stepped up, and you took that role and did a great job of it. So let's hear it both for the speaker and the evaluator. The second speech today was by Toastmaster Ajay. I invite the evaluator of the speech today, Toastmaster Sai Snehal, to provide evaluation of Toastmaster Ajay's speech titled Trends and Traditions. I had observations and objections for some reason. Sorry, I apologize. But you are trendy enough that you changed the title.
General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and Toastmaster Ajay in particular. Trends and traditions is something we all relate to or something we all observe, but how many of us can actually pull a story out of it? And this is what the speaker has done today. He's brought out relation from the earlier traditions, the ancient times, to the modern day, from paintings to the photographs. How different were we? And that is what made the speech a really good thing. I'll break down the evaluation into 3 segments, starting with where you excelled at. Your style of speaking is something that I would relate it as a neurotypical style of speaking, where you pick a situation and you can either make it humorous or serious. He could have brought out the entire story of his friends ditching him in a very serious way of how you have to be responsible, but he rather brought it out in a humorous way. The ability to bring out such a situation, whether in a good or not, in a humorous way, it all boils down to how you can observe and how you can bring out a situation from every aspect of your life. And with that, you did a really great job. The best part of it was the painting and the photograph, like I said earlier. We all take photographs of our food. Like he mentioned, I never took, but he's saying I did. A bald man running in the beach in Gokarna while him being all hairy was a very strange combination. Something that brought a real great contrast in the story that he was trying to tell. There are some things that I want you to work upon. Although this was a speech that you had repeated earlier, I felt the curve that this speech could have been a little more higher than the speech that you had delivered earlier. Maybe you could have tried with a more stronger conclusion, because the ending itself wasn't trying to send out a message or something that we know it is going to be the end. That is something that I felt was lacking. You stick to a certain style of humor. It seems a little predictable. If you can alter it or suit it according to the audience or according to the situation that you're going to express, maybe that will help you deliver these speeches even more better. Another, although it's not required in this particular project, your body language of expressing feels a little restrictive. You can be a lot more, I'm sure all of us can agree to that. You can be a little lot more. Maybe if you can try and blend in more and also make it look like you're delivering a really great speech. Body language says more than what you actually say, and that will help you. To challenge yourself, I would say maybe you can try story-based humor or something with more gestures and voice modulation. I'm sure that's the other project. And also, since this project doesn't require me to mention the eye contact and everything, I've just given it here. In conclusion, it was a really great speech. How you brought out contrast from different aspects of life, and with the suggestions that I have given you, maybe you can take it to the next level, maybe area level or something. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai Snehal. Couple of lines about the speech itself. I was there at the session where I heard the speech the first time, and I talked to you after the speech, and you said how to prepare for a speech is to be able to deliver the content at twice the speed. Or then we were just talking about how to prepare, and then you said, well, while doing other menial work, try to practice your speech. So that was all excellent feedback, and when I heard the same speech again, I was like, that shows your commitment that you're a seasoned speaker and you could pick any speech, but you chose the same speech again because I think of the grade of perfection that you want to achieve. So kudos to you on that. Coming to the evaluator, great evaluation. You are also a seasoned Toastmaster. You know how to evaluate a seasoned speaker. You had stepped up your evaluation to the grade of the Toastmaster that you are evaluating. So you were critical, as you rightly should be, to say this is what he could do more because he has been here long enough and he could challenge himself. So you had well-structured feedback. You told him what he was doing well, what he excelled at. Then, while we were all laughing about how a bald person was interacting with a hairy person, you quietly embedded feedback in there along with the humor, which was great, I thought. It's a nice way of doing it. I think I've heard people say that, pull out a hair out of a block of butter. So that's how you deliver criticism or, constructive feedback. So criticism is the wrong word, I apologize. So I think you ticked all the right boxes as far as offering feedback, and you also gave him a way forward by telling him how to challenge himself. So how could he do that? By picking different styles of humor, trying a speech with different kinds of humor, challenges, use gestures, and so on. One thing that I noticed with Toastmaster Ajay was that he has great eye contact, but kind of like a stepchild, maybe the left side of the audience is not very particularly focused on. I felt left out. So just a small feedback for the next time. So great job done by the evaluator and the speaker. So let's hear it for both of them. The final speech of the day was by Toastmaster Sonal. I invite Toastmaster Shiva, our evaluator, to provide his evaluation of her speech titled, How to Inspire Your Audience. Toastmaster.
First, they laugh at you, then they acknowledge you. Then finally they honor you. I knew that guy, that fellow. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear guests. All of us today were witness to a wonderful, inspiring speech by our guest speaker, Toastmaster Sonal. Let me start off with where Sonal did really well in her speech. She started off with a question immediately grabbing everybody's attention, right? But I'll come back to that question later. Was the story inspiring? Definitely yes. A story about a laborer from Bihar in a very remote village had to cross mountains. All of us have mountains in our life, right? And very few think that we'll carve a path through this mountain. All of us try to go around that mountain. So it was definitely an inspiring speech, and I was definitely inspired by your speech.
you linked the story to your own life towards the end, right? How you lost your father and how your family business is still going really well. So you did very well on that part, making it personal towards the end. Next point I want to stress on is the great language skills that you have. English is definitely not a problem for you, right? All throughout the speech, great use of words, vocabulary, and that might just be a drawback, which I'll come to later. Coming to where the speech can be improved. Coming back to that question you asked. Ujwal introduced you, you came here and boom, started. And you didn't even give us time to settle down, think, okay, what is she saying? Right? We were taken, I would say, off guard. Right? You can give that time, let it all sink in, okay, Sonal is standing here, and then maybe start off with your speech. Give us that time. Also, Toastmaster Lakshmi just now said about Ajay's speech, right? Wherein if you can deliver the speech at twice the speed, you have probably practiced it really well. I felt not just in practice, you have taken that seriously and right? And I also would like to ask you, Sonal, by any chance, I know Ajay's speech was really good. By any chance, have you booked a train ticket to Gokarna tonight? I think you can just slow down, right? You're delivering an inspiring speech, you're trying to interact with the audience. Probably let the words sink in, message sink in, instead of rushing with it. That is where I come to the duration of your speech, 4 minutes and 58 seconds. You had a full 7 minutes to inspire your audience, but all you took was 4 minutes and 58 seconds. So you can add a bit more content, I guess, elaborate on the family part, your part, how the story continues in your family business, and make it a bigger speech to inspire your audience. Finally, you can focus more on the delivery, as I just said, interaction with the audience, the manual. Right, it stresses on interaction with the audience. But I felt, other than the question at the starting, there was almost no interaction in the speech. Right? So you can somehow include more questions, ask the audience to give their own stories and make it more interactive. To conclude, Toastmaster Sonal, a really inspiring story that you chose to deliver your speech. If you focus on your delivery and interaction with the audience, it can become a much better speech. Back to the general evaluator.
Toastmaster Shiva. As Toastmaster Shiva rightly said, Toastmaster Sonal's speech was truly inspiring. When a story is personal, then everybody in the audience relates to it. And because yours is a personal story, while you gave an example of a very inspiring person, but the minute you said, this is my story and this is what I did, it was immediately like, oh wow. So truly inspiring. Congratulations on that speech. Toastmaster Shiva, you summed up the evaluation really well. You told her what she did well, and how your opening was really good, I thought. First they laugh at you, then they acknowledge, then they honor you. That's typically how it goes. You summed up the entire speech in those 3 lines. So great job there. And you told her what she could have improved, all of them very valid points. You noticed the time that she had taken and that how she had scope to deliver more content in there in that time. And she being a seasoned Toastmaster was definitely a very valid feedback. The content organization, you told her how to add and where to add more content, which is also valid. You said you could talk more about family because she had talked more about the story and maybe could have included more content on the family. And you said, told her to focus on delivery. And I thought that she's also a seasoned Toastmaster. Are there things that you could have told her that where she could challenge herself? Well, these are things that she can definitely do, but can she do anything to take it to the next level? What could she do? So that's one thing I thought that you could have told her, given her tenure as a Toastmaster. Other than that, great evaluation, great speech. Let's hear it for both the evaluators. Moving on to the tap 3 roles, let's call on the timer, Toastmaster Sharanye, to hear a report on how we did on time.
A very good evening, everyone. Here was the timer report for today's meeting. The meeting commenced at 6:19. The business session went on for 1 minute 40 seconds. Welcome by surge of terms that was by Toastmaster Sharanye was allotted 2 minutes and has taken 1 minute 47 seconds. Introduction of the guest went on for 1 minute 20 seconds. Presidential address was allotted 5 minutes and has taken 8 minutes by Toastmaster Gaurav. Introduction of Toastmaster of the day was allotted 1 minute and has taken 33 seconds. Report in previous meeting that was reading of minutes of meeting was allotted 2 minutes and has taken 1 minute 52 seconds by Toastmaster Pavani. Then came the MC Toastmaster Ujwal. He spoke for 5 minutes 20 seconds in total. Coming to the prepared speech session, we had 3 speakers today. Toastmaster Saipriya took 10 minutes 12 seconds. Toastmaster Ajay took 6 minutes 52 seconds. Toastmaster Sonal took 4 minutes 58 seconds. The next session was the table topic session, which went on for 21 minutes in total. We had 10 speakers, out of which no one spoke below 1 minute, 6 spoke above 1 minute, and 4 spoke above 2 minutes. The individual report has been written on the board, and I request everyone to have a look at it. Then we had networking session, which went on for 12 minutes. Coming to the individual evaluation, which was between 2 to 3 minutes, Toastmaster Pavani has taken 3 minutes 50 seconds. Toastmaster Sai Snehal has taken 3 minutes 16 seconds. Toastmaster Shiva has taken 3 minutes 26 seconds. The general evaluation has been for 11 minutes 52 seconds so far. Thank you, and back to you.
Sharanye, as usual, a very crisp, detailed report of all the time that was accounted for, that has been taken so far, and all excellently delivered. I just want to add one comment that in the middle, when people came here for the TAPG roles, even though those are regular common roles, we used to add a few lines of innovative content there, here and there, just to make the role your own. And I know you've done that in the past. So I was kind of looking forward to seeing if you would do that again. So maybe you'll consider that. So other than that, thank you for an excellent job done. Sushruth was our counter, but now Sharanye has taken that over. So I invite Sharanye again to give us the counter report.
Once again, good evening, everyone. Here goes the counter report for today's meeting according to Sushruth. Sanjana P Toastmaster Sharanye was flawless. Acting President Toastmaster Gaurav flawless. Toastmaster of the Day Toastmaster Ujwal flawless. Speaker 1 Saipriya was flawless. Evaluator for the Speaker 1 Pavani had 2 hours. Speaker 2 Ajay was flawless. Evaluator 2 Sai Snehal had 1 hour. Speaker 3 Sonal was flawless. Evaluator Shiva was flawless. And coming to the table topic speakers, Toastmaster Dhanush had 2 hours. Sindhushree had 3 hours and 2 pauses. Sanjana had 4 hours. And Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa had 3 hours. Coming to the general evaluator, she's had 4 hours until now. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sharanye. Was that the Sushruth report that you were reading out?
Yes.
Okay. So the only feedback I had for Toastmaster Sushruth was, while he explained what the counter's role was to say, we had to count the hours, since we have a couple of guests, maybe he could have elaborated and told that there are crutch words, there are pauses that are not really related to what the speaker is talking about, and those count as counts as well. Just to describe it, and so that for the better understanding of guests. Other than that, great job. Thank you for that, Toastmaster Sharanye. Next, I call upon the PP evaluator, Udanka, DTM Udanka.
The 3 basic rules were followed. There was no ringing of phones, or there was no sound making devices. There was one walkout of the room, but that started during an applause. That was acceptable. And today the crosstalks were very minimal, but the number what a speaker delivered needs to be corrected. We have 280,000 members across 144 countries, having 14,700 clubs. So as a role taker, if you have any doubts in the numbers, please go to Toastmasters International website. It is listed out there, and then you can give the exact numbers in the meeting. With that, back to you, Sindhushree.
Thank you, Toastmaster DTM Udanka, for that report. And thank you for pointing out that correction in data that we could make. So let's note that down and avoid those things in the future. Next up, we have the Grammarian for the day, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening, Toastmasters, welcome guests. Today's meeting went on very well, and many good usages were there, very less not so good usages. Coming to good usages, avid reader, freezing cold temperature, medicine for heart, factually incorrect, trends and traditions, indulge in empathetic friend travel, arduous process, mount the mountain, carve a path, change pattern, coming to not so good usage, turned out to be good with reference to context, turned out to be better, and burnt off calories could be burnt calories. And there was more reference to vernacular language. One Toastmaster mentioned chalo. It could have been said as okay, let me take up with reference to context. And one Toastmaster used the word dvanda, Kannada. Duality could have been used in that place. These corrections could have been made. Coming to the word of the week, Toastmaster Lakshmi is the only person who used incipient.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, for that report. Again, very factual. Thank you all the TAPG role takers for your role today. We appreciate all the detailed information and data that you've given us. But I wonder that there is a ribbon waiting here for the best TAPG role taker. I wonder if you put in a little extra to earn that ribbon today. Can we think about doing that? Can we think about how to enhance that role so when I am voting at the end of the day, that role to me stands out and I say this is the ribbon taker today. So let's just keep that in mind, and a huge round of applause for all the TAPG roles. Next we come to the Table Topics Master. Toastmaster Raja. Great introduction. You talked about what quotable quotes are and how these quotes should apply in our life and all that. And you went on to talk about the different quotes and how they relate to our lives. Now all of this was fine. It was a great introduction and really good quotes, because some of the speeches that we heard were really inspiring and we learn a lot. That's one of the places where people talk about their personal experiences and we learn and we are motivated. So great job done on all that. Only small suggestion I would say is when you're here, maybe not suggest that the user, that the table topics person who's speaking, the speaker not talk about their experiences. It's up to them to talk about whatever they want to. And it should be impromptu. So they should just walk up here and whatever thoughts occur to them, they should talk about that. So maybe not suggest what they should talk about. So that's the only thing. Carefully thought of topics, provoking thought and provoking really good responses from everybody. Just looking at that, everybody stopped for at least almost 2 minutes. So great choice of speakers and table topics. So let's hear it for the table topics. Lastly, we come to the MC of the day, Toastmaster Ujwal. Great introduction. You connected the theme to Ralph's medley really well. How you talked about premier contests in Toastmasters related to the Premier League, and then said this thought occurred to Smedley and so on. You've already gotten feedback regarding the data statistics, so please keep that in mind. Great way to conduct it. A good MC is somebody who makes the meeting the highlight and steps back and just make sure that everything goes smoothly. You did that very well. So a great job on that. You did all the things that are required of an MC. You introduced the theme, you talked about each of the sessions, you gave the details and what goes on. So that's for the benefit of the guests and the new table topic, new Toastmasters, all the role takers and everything. So great job done, and let's hear it for Toastmasters. Before I end, I had a couple of observations. The shiny gavel was sitting here all the time. So I was wondering if the president was going to hand it over to the MC and then shake hands and so on. I know that is a procedural thing, but I just noted that. Everybody did a good job on introducing the session. All the role takers introduced their session, their role, and what was involved with it. There was no note writing when the speaker was here at the lectern. I noticed just one instance where there was a small conversation and that seemed to distract a table topic speaker. I think that, once in a while their conversations happen, it's okay if it's a prepared speech, but if it's a table topic speaker, they're already thinking, they're on the spot, and even a little distraction might throw their thought away. So let's just keep that in mind when we do that, when we, try not to speak during that. And other than that, it was great. So let's not, Premier League is here. We know that it's not just a sport. For some of us, it's a way of life. Just to draw a parallel from Premier League matches to Toastmasters here, each of our sessions are equally exciting. They are fun. We meet people who are like-minded, and there's a lot of learning that we take away from that, and that keeps us coming back week after week. So let's not forget that we are just like the fans. The Toastmasters are just like the fans of the IPL. This session means nothing without the fans. They bring in all the enthusiasm, they bring in all the applause and all the encouragement that is offered to all the speakers. So give yourselves a huge round of applause. So you have overcome hurdles like Bangalore traffic. You have overcome hurdles like personal obligations, appointments, work schedules, and whatnot to be here. So that's great. And let's keep that up and come here week after week and encourage each other and help each other grow. So whether you are a die-hard fan or a casual participant, celebrate the fun, the entertainment, and the learning that each Toastmaster session brings here. And I hope to see you all here again next week. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi, for that incredible general evaluation. With this, I hope you all had a great time in the meeting today. With this, I hand over the charge back to the President.
Before I jump into the winners, I forgot to make 2 announcements during the business session. The first one, let's congratulate our VPM Toastmaster Ujwal for having such wonderful renewals of 38 members, which is around 83% compared to the base camp. So a huge round of applause for him. And the second update was this weekend, this Sunday, at 9:30, we have our Division C contest. It's happening at CMS Lalbagh Road. So our own member, Toastmaster Balaji, is competing in evaluation contest. So I request most of you to come there and encourage him and do support him. And before I jump in again, I just wanted to have one clarification. Toastmaster Lakshmi and Toastmaster Ajay, is this your debutant role?
Yes.
Is this your first time taking table topic master?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, second time.
Okay, coming to the winners. So we have total of 13 responses, and I can see majority of them have voted. So the best tab G, that is timer, accounter, PP, and grammarian, goes to a timer Toastmaster Sharanye. Coming to the winners of MTG, it goes to our grammarian debate, not grammarian, general evaluator and Toastmaster. Coming to the best table topic speaker, it goes to our clubmate Ramlal. Our best evaluator for today goes to our VP Saipriya, Toastmasters, Shivaprasad. And the best speaker for today goes to our seasoned speaker, Toastmaster. Thank you everyone. I can see that you guys came a little earlier, little more early. You can start exactly at 6:50 for next week. Thank you, and I close meeting number 1207. And I